So I know a lot of people will say that the worst thing that the police are doing currently is, the abuse and the beatings and all of that of minorities. But I'm here to say that that is not even close to the worst thing that the police, the law, and cities are doing. There's something much worse that affects every single person who owns a car. If you own a car, you 100% have been affected by the red light ticket. Yep. Those motherfuckers. We've all gotten them. It's impossible to avoid because it's a scam. It's a scam perpetrated by law and by cities to collect money from their citizens for basically doing nothing wrong. I've gotten so many of these fuckers. So many of them. And every single time, the way that I've been gotten. So, all right, if you catch me, light turns red, it's been 10 seconds, I whiz through at 60 miles an hour, by all means, send me a ticket. But that's not how they get you, and that's not how they get most people. What they get most people on is you pull up to the light, you make a turn on red, and then a month later, you open the fucking mail, and there's a ticket for $100. And you're perplexed because you don't know what you did wrong. Like, what is this? Like, never once have I gotten one of these tickets and said, oh, yeah, there was that time. Yeah, I was wondering when this would show up. Instead, you're perplexed. You're like, what did I even? And thankfully, the city or the red light ticket companies, they give you a little link so you can see yourself breaking the law to the degree that is worth a $100 ticket. And every single time it's my car, it pulls up to the light, it stops, and then it continues safely. No pedestrians, no cars. Where's the crime? Oh, I didn't come to a 100% car stops, jerks back. I didn't do like, so in football, there's a rule. If the receiver goes in motion, he has to stop, do a 1 Mississippi before the quarterback can hike the ball. So apparently the same rule applies in traffic where unless your car comes to a full stop before you make that right on red, it is a $100 ticket. Now, technically that is illegal. But if a policeman saw you do that, I don't think they would bother to pull you over because it's that nothing of a violation. It's perfectly safe. You're not running over pedestrians. And yet they get you every time. And to the point now where they have gotten so many people with these. I see bumper stickers now that say, I do not turn right on red. And then there's like underneath in small print, fuck off. Fuck off, city, because you've gotten me one too many times. I mean, they get you sometimes in a way where, so they get you on the bullshit right on red, but they also get you on the, you've misjudged the yellow light, right? Now, normally, even if it turns red as you're entering the intersection, you're fine. You're not in danger. You're not hurting anybody. But if the camera catches you, now it's a ticket. So instead of casually timing the yellow light and then going through safely, and all right, it turns red as you're going through, no big deal. Now, what a lot of people have to do, including myself, these things have given me PTSD, quite frankly, because now as I'm approaching the light, if I see that it turns red, and even though I only have 3 feet to stop, I will jam on my fucking brakes. I'll wind up rolling into intersection anyway, so I still wind up getting the fine. But I am so freaked out about the ticket that I'll jam on the brakes, risk people behind me running into me. Like, it's far more dangerous to avoid the red light ticket than the violation that we're all getting the $100 ticket for. Like, it's such a scam that, okay, so I come to basically a stop. Well, first off, come to a complete stop, but now in order for me to actually make the right on red, I have to now move forward well into the intersection just so I can see past all the cars that are next to me. Now, I don't mean I'm in the intersection, but technically I'm way past this line, which is the dividing point between a $100 ticket and not. So is that legal? Apparently it is. So that's legal as long as you came to the one Mississippi stop 10 feet back. But so here's where it's a scam. I can not come to a complete stop, make a right turn. That's considered illegal. I'll get a ticket for it. Then I could go to the Walmart around the corner, walk to the back, grab a television set that's under $1,000, stick it in my cart, walk right out the door. As I'm walking out, the guy he was once a greeter to say hi, but now he's really the guy who checks receipts. He will say to me, "Hey, do you have a receipt for that?" To which I will say no. And then I'll walk out the door and he'll go, "Have a nice day. See you next time." And I'll say, "You bet you will. I'm making one hell of a man cave with these new rules where you can steal shit with impunity and no one can do anything." So, and the reason for that, the reason that now you can commit crimes and not get in trouble for them is because liberal states have decided it's unfair to, people who are disadvantaged. Like, we can't punish people stealing catalytic converters because clearly they need it to feed their family or whatever. All right, fine. If this is the rule, who do you think gets hurt more? The person who's not allowed to commit crimes, or the person who's a good citizen who is also disadvantaged, living week to week, who now their good day has been devastated by your stupid bullshit red light ticket? Because trust me, when you're living week to week, and I've been doing that for far too long. In case you were wondering, if the 4 views under my YouTube video weren't enough of a clue, I'm not very successful at this. I'm basically the guy in his mom's basement doing whatever this is. And why is it always the mom's basement? Like, you always hear that, like, these fucking trolls, in their mom's basement. Like, do none of them live with their dad? I'm sure there's plenty of trolls who live with their dad. Or is it that if you're a troll living in your dad's basement, he's made it such a cool man cave from all the TVs and electronics he's stealing at will that you don't want to troll people online because you're too busy playing Call of Duty. Call of Duty. That's a new game. Anyway, I got sidetracked. My point is, good people living week to week get that fucking bullshit in the mail, and it is devastating. And if you can't pay it in a month, it becomes $200. All because you didn't come to 100%. All because you didn't stop, decide to check your Instagram, maybe make a phone call to your mother, maybe do partially your taxes, and then proceed with the right on red. All because of that. Your entire life devastated. So, do you really care about helping people that are disadvantaged, or is this just the best money grab the city can possibly do? Like, we don't even have to do anything. A camera takes a picture and we make so much money. And then here's the other scam. Like when I got my first one of these, I tried to figure out, like, how do I get out of this bullshit? And one of the things I knew was, like, by law, you can't get a ticket without a witness. The police officer has to witness you commit the crime or else it's invalid in court. So I'm like, well, problem solved. I don't know how anyone ever has to pay one of these, except for here's the loophole. What they do, you think parking meter attendants are some of the worst people on the planet? No, you think the person who beat up George Floyd is a bad person? No. Here's the worst person in the entire world. It's the police officer whose entire job is to sit there, watch videos of people committing crimes. And yes, I'm using air quotes if you're listening on the podcast. And then he signs off on it, and that is legally considered him witnessing it. And then I guess that's his job. He sits there, he witnesses your crime, in your quotes again, and then I guess he shows up to court in case you show up. Because technically, if you show up to court and the officer's not there, then it gets dismissed. So that's his life. What did you do today, honey? Well, I destroyed the lives of hundreds of people, and all I had to do was sit in a chair and eat donuts, because we all know the cops eat donuts, yeah. Yeah, and then I walk across from that room across to the courthouse, and I sit there for 6 hours just in case the people who want to contest it show up, which no one ever does. Yeah. So once again, I just eat more donuts, and then I get overweight, and okay. So that's the worst person in the world. But actually, no, the worst person in the world is the mayors of the cities who allow these things to be installed in the first place. So when I realized I couldn't fight these tickets, then I started just, I protest every single one I get. And I've gotten a lot. You'd be like, Dave, why do you get so many? Because there's such bullshit that most of the time you don't even realize you've gotten it. Or there's those times where it's safer for me to just go through than to fucking slam on my brakes, and I just hope for the best. But so, and then there's towns, like, so in my town where I live, I know where they are, so I'm ready for them. But, you go somewhere else, you don't even know which lights have them. Like, technically, there's a sign that tells you, but you never see that. Or you see it when it's too late. But so anyway, I protest every one, I fight every single one, and I get away with about 75% of them do get dismissed. So, and by the way, I did commit the crime. Yeah, I mean, by the letter of the law, yeah, I committed the crime. So if it really was for safety reasons, why are you dismissing so many of them? Oh, because it's bullshit and you probably there's probably a quota, like you got to dismiss some of these. Because, I mean, we're literally stealing so much money from people that you got to make it look like, it's like a casino. You got to let some of the slot machines hit, or else everyone gets turned on to the fact that we're basically robbing everybody. So I protest every single one, get away with about 75% of them, and then the occasional ones that don't get approved, I just don't pay. Because fuck you. Also, and here's the reason I don't pay them, like right now, most of the time they go away. Magically, go away. Like, it used to be, once upon a time, if you didn't pay these, they could suspend your license, which now that's a bad thing. But even the governor of our state of Illinois was like, that's bullshit, because we all know it's a scam. We all go to dinner together at these big banquets where everyone pays $500 a plate for charity, and we all laugh at how much money these red light tickets bring in. But even I, the governor, realize it's a bit much taking people's licenses for this scam. So, I mean, we'll let you put them in collection and ruin their credit, but we're not gonna suspend their license for this shit. So, a lot of these just magically go away, although I'm currently dealing with a lawyer. One of them got sent to a lawyer, and So he sent me the city has passed this on to me. I've bought your debt like a bad, mafia man. And now I'm coming after you for the $200 you owe. And to which I replied, so now this is why I don't pay him. So I replied to him, because the town I live in, Crestwood, shady. I already mentioned that they had an issue with their water where they were poisoning people. But the mayor of our town, 30 years, good standing, recently, a couple years ago, got busted for taking bribes from red light ticket companies. What? Why are you taking bribes if this is all for safety? Oh, because everybody's making so much money that these red light ticket companies are like, we got to get our lights into every town, every intersection, because, it is just so much money. But not every politician wants to do it because they kind of know that they're raping their citizens. Oh, but don't you worry. Most politicians, they'll rape their citizens if you give them enough of an incentive, which apparently this mayor, 30 years, good standing, I guess they gave him a good enough incentive to put these in, and now he's no longer our mayor. So to the lawyer who, one of the ways I protest, because you get the ticket, they say, mail your protest letter here. One of the ways I protest is I will send back my protest letter with articles from every politician who's been busted in Illinois. And there's a lot. There are a lot. And guess what? A lot of those get dismissed magically. They're like, oh, shit, this guy knows our scam. But anyway, so I send the lawyer. I say, all right, well, first off, the mayor of our town convicted of bribery. So that's a little shady. Secondly, the intersection that I always get caught at, Kelsag and Cicero, if you know it, it is so shady the way that the lights work. And the right turn lane is technically unsignaled. Like it's a separate lane. It's not like you come to the stop and then you got to make a right. No, it's a separate lane, almost like you're merging onto the highway. No signals whatsoever. So theoretically, you're not even 100% sure, like, what is this? Is this just a yield? Is this a stop? And so a class action lawsuit got filed a couple of years ago against this town, against this intersection, saying, like, this is not a clear signal. We don't even know for sure what we're supposed to do. And yet we're getting all these fucking tickets. So between that, between the shady mayor, and then also right around the time I got this letter from the lawyer, this shady town magically took down every single red light ticket in the town, which I got to tell you is fucking, oh my God. It is so great to drive around now because I don't have to come up to every light, asshole puckered in fear. Am I going to do something wrong? You know? Now I can drive like a normal fucking person. And what do you know? The traffic moves a lot smoother ever since they took these things out. And why did they take them out? Was it because they suddenly realized that now safety doesn't matter? Or did they get caught with their hand in the cookie jar and realize, like, yeah, we better just... Turns out we're way worse than police who beat minorities because we're beating like, 1,000 minorities a week with this fucking bullshit scam. So maybe we should get rid of them. I don't know why they got rid of them, but I am fucking happy. So anyway, I sent all that to the lawyer, and he sends back not a response to any of that, but instead says, thank you for your request on wanting to know what the violations were, and he just basically resent me the tickets. To which now I'm ignoring it. He sent me a scary, you've got 10 days to pay, or else... And I even put in the return letter, I said, I'll take this one to court. I think I got a good chance. You know? Plus, do you really want to go to court for $200? Like, I think court costs are more than what it would cost, what you would get. And I know technically he could put the court cost on me, but you know what? I'm willing to take this chance for the good of the people. Yeah. So anyway, yeah. For the good of the people. Yeah, I'm on your side, everybody. And I know I'm on your side because I don't think there's a single person in the world who has not been affected by this bullshit. Not a single person, unless you never drive. And even then, there's probably some people who've gotten red light tickets on their bicycles and shit, because that's how shady it is. Okay. So that was my deposition. This can and will be used in court against me, I'm sure. So I'll check back with you. I'll check back with you in a couple months when suddenly it turns out the guy did take me to court and now I'm in debt $10,000, whatever, however it works. Whatever.